Hi folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. Today I am making a triple citrus shrub, and I love shrubs. So while I go over all of this, follow along down below in the show notes, and while you're down there, hit like and subscribe because that does help. Shrubs, cocktail shrubs. They're not just for cocktails, they're for mocktails as well. So, and they just consist of fruit, vinegar, and sugar. Often equal parts. Sometimes it's very depending on the fruit that you're using. Like I think I used less vinegar when I made a rhubarb shrub, for instance. And they're fantastic mixers for any beverage. It can brighten up any beverage that you want. It does not have to have alcohol in it. And which is why they're wonderful. And because this is part of our winter canning series, citrus is in at this time of the year, which is the first quarter of the month, January, February, March. That's when all of our beautiful citrus has come to life. And it's the freshest. I mean, you can get all of these fruits year round pretty much, but in the winter months, that's when they are fresh from the vines, in most cases, fresh from the trees. So the ingredients I'm using today, this is kind of my own concoction that I'm pulling together. I'm using one grapefruit, it's kind of smaller, medium to small grapefruit, 2 lemons and 2 oranges, plus 2 to 3 cups of sugar and 2 to 3 cups of apple cider vinegar. We're gonna test that. So, and the reason why I say 2 to 3 cups of sugar just depends on how much fruit and juice we get out of all of this, which I will be measuring as we go, because it's normally especially with the citrus shrub, it's equal parts vinegar, fruit, and sugar. So that's what we're going to be doing there on that. So the tools that you need. So those are the ingredients. The tools that you need are, and by the way, speaking of, I love this particular type of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar. You can actually use your own homemade vinegar if you make it yourself. You don't need to worry about the 5% acidity there, although I think that will help for this. But it is stored in the refrigerator, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Plus you have sugar in it, which is also a preservative. So you need some knives, you do need a vegetable peeler, and you need a muddler, because we will be muddling this all together. And you're gonna need a large storage container as well. And also a funnel, because I don't have that out here at the moment, but I will be using a funnel to pour everything in there, and some measuring spoons, or cups actually. So with all that, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm gonna do is measure out 2 cups of sugar. I know I'm gonna need at least 2 cups, so I'm starting with that. And now I'm going to peel the skin off of the fruit, all of the fruit, and put it in with the sugar here as I go. And we're gonna be careful to not get a lot of the white pith underneath. A side note, these are organic fruits. I was able to purchase those at a really decent price, to be honest. And I did rinse these with hot water and then wiped them off with a paper towel, because that is a good way to kind of clean the outside, especially when if you're using conventional fruit. It'll often have a waxiness on top to keep it preserved while it's in transit from one state to the next. But this is a good way to just clean the outside of the fruit, because we are just using the peel here. So you just want to carefully I just kind of do a little seesaw action, and you'll see that there is very little of the white stuff here, the white pith, P-I-T-H. And you just want to get as little of that as you can, because it just makes it bitter, that's why. So I've got the lemons all peeled here, and so I'm going to go ahead and take my muddler and just really push down into the sugar here. We're just going to do our best to release as much of that fantastic flavor from the peels and get it into the sugar. And I'm going to kind of do that a little bit as I go. And then just continue to peel the grapefruit now. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut off the ends of the lemons here, because we're going to segment these out. and I need a little bit more on that. So you want to be able to see kind of the fruit very well. And we're just gonna cut around the edge here. You want to cut in between the segments. You want to cut the pulp out in between the segments. And the reason for that is when we're fermenting all of this, you just don't want to have this part that the skin, so to speak, where the segment is. It can make it bitter. So we're just using the actual pulp itself, and this is the way to get it out. And I am kind of keeping an eye on measurement because this is going to help me adjust sugar if I need to. So you cut down and then you just sort of scoop it up. So I had about 3/4 of a cup of lemon segments, not quite a cup of, just shy of a cup of the grapefruit segments. And then I have a cup here of the orange segments. And then I am kind of just eyeballing, that's about 1/4 of a cup of the, it's like 1 1/4 cups of the orange segments. And I'm gonna go ahead and keep it that way. And then I'm going to just kind of start the mushing process here, and also use a spoon just to kind of stir everything about and get everything mixed in with the sugars, and loosen up all that really great flavor from the peel that's in here. Now I've done my best to try to remove all of the seeds, as many seeds as possible. And then I am gonna just go ahead and kind of smush down with the muddler. And then I did notice a bit of a segment in here, so I'm gonna pull that off. It's from one of the lemons. It's just got some pith on it, and again, makes it bitter. And finally, I am adding the 2 cups of vinegar in here. And I'm gonna give this a really, really good stir. I've got the shrub all pulled together. I ended up with, as mentioned, not quite 3 cups of fruit. Close to it, but not quite 3. So what I'm gonna do, what I ended up doing is, I just started off with the 2 cups of sugar and then the 2 cups of vinegar. But I went ahead and put in another 1/2 cup of sugar and vinegar because I think it's gonna need it. And I'm going off my gut here. But what I'm gonna do now is stick it in the refrigerator and shake it. I'm gonna stick it in the refrigerator for about 2 to 3 days. My grapefruit shrub, I ended up leaving it in for 5 days because we became a house of sickness. So that's what I had to do there. Couldn't get to it. And it was fine. It was absolutely fine. So this is fine to let it kind of have a long soak to kind of extract all those flavors. Get the sugars all pulled in, extract all that great flavor from the peel, and combine it in with the vinegar, etc. But you're going to want to shake it once or twice a day in the process, or stir it, however you have it in your container. And then I did forget to mention at the beginning, you will need a sieve when you're done because we will strain all of this through a sieve or some cheesecloth, whatever works there. So now it's off to the refrigerator. So it's day 5 for me because, once again, it normally says from anywhere from like 1 to 3 days or 2 to 4 days on letting your shrub sort of come together. But it's been 5 because that's how busy I've been. But I did shake it once or twice a day while it was in the refrigerator, while it was fusing all these delicious flavors together. And boy, is it good, really good. Doesn't quite have the bite of a grapefruit shrub, which I really enjoy too. The orange does a good job of smoothing it out, but it still has kind of that nice tartness, citrusy tartness to it, because it does have grapefruit, lemons, obviously, and oranges. So what I'm going to do now is, so I've got a sieve. You can also use a wet coffee filter. Make sure to get it wet, because if you don't wet your coffee filter with water, just get it damp, wring it out and line it. Or you can use cheesecloth, same thing, but just make sure it's wet first with water. If you don't do that, then all the juices that comes from the coffee filter or the cheesecloth will absorb the juices there, and then you're just gonna lose out on some stuff. Or you can use a sieve, or if you don't, another thing, if you have a colander, you can line that with damp paper towels or coffee filters or cheesecloth for that too. So just some suggestions. Paper towels will take longer, just a heads up, and they tear. So if you can get a coffee filter or a sieve, that's preferred. And so now we're just gonna pour it in here. And I do have the muddler, so I'm going to just sort of smush all of the good juices here. So I've got the, I've got the sieve here, and I have my my funnel here too. If you don't have this setup, you can also do the sieve over a bowl like this and smush it around. So the only thing I'm doing here is I'm just removing all of trying to get as much of the juice out of here as possible. And this is how we make a triple citrus shrub. Like I said, it is so good. Very, very, very good. It's great if you take just like a shot or an ounce of the shrub and mix it in with your favorite sparkling water of some sort. Citrus base would probably be good, but you could throw it in with mango or raspberry flavored sparkling waters if you'd like. And it just makes a really nice mocktail, cocktail kind of a flavor. If you want to make a cocktail, then you'd add an ounce of like vodka or gin, or you could even do tequila with this if you'd like. Whatever. It would be great with bourbon too. It just the citrus in there is it's really flavorful. It's kind of pretty diverse. So that's how you can zhuzh up a beverage. And then you can also add like let's say like a fourth of a cup to maybe of the shrub to a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and then add some salt and pepper to taste, and shake that up. Really shake it really good, and it'll emulsify it. And when you do that, you have a fantastic salad dressing. Really great citrus salad dressing, which is so fun and refreshing. You could mix this in with some hot water to give yourself kind of a little punch for if you're not feeling great, because there's a lot of vitamin C here, and we used a lot of the peels in here. So you're getting some really great vitamin C mixture in here as well. So it's very tasty, and I highly recommend. And it made a lot. That made a whole bunch. So we will be using this for quite some time. Or maybe not, because my daughter's very excited about it. So it might go a lot quicker than you can, but it's also something you can use year round, although I do like making this in the winter because that's when our all of the citrus is ripe, basically. It's in January, February, March, so keep that in mind. So that's how we do it. Now the further instructions and information are down below in the show notes. And while you're down there, please hit like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can. You can at me on TikTok and Instagram at Stacey Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com. My email is info@staceycancan. And then I'm also on LinkedIn and Pinterest at Stacey Can. So thanks so much for joining me today. And until next time, happy canning.